To the housing sector now. Over the past few weeks, we have focused on the National Housing Program and its impact on the nation's housing sector and on employment and empowerment of local communities all over the country. With the program now up and running, attention is now shifting to putting in place an acceptable mortgage program to ensure that Nigerians are able to access the program without let or hindrance. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who was speaking at a real estate roundtable in Abuja, said the federal government intends to restructure the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria by recapitalizing it and streamlining its operations to respond to present-day realities.
Speaking on the theme, Innovative Housing Financing Model as a catalyst for home ownership during a roundtable event, Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola says recapitalization of the Federal Mortgage Bank will boost housing development nationwide. This would also create more opportunities for Nigerians earning a living to own a home and tackle the country's housing deficit.
When we finish the pilot, our intention is that if people accept it, we would have evolved an acceptable Nigerian house. We would also hopefully then have evolved an affordable Nigerian house with reasonable costs. But again, the house becomes unaffordable if you have to do cash and carry. People buy houses over a period of their lifetime, not overnight.
We believe that all of us must not lose sight of the social aspect of housing as well. And the fact that as we go on, we cannot afford to leave behind millions of Nigerians who are not so enabled in terms of funding to be able to pay the exorbitant price for the houses that are available today.
Nigerians must not allow problems of deficit to define the nation. Therefore, homeowners and landlords need to be considerate, as most workers who earn salaries regularly and can even afford to pay rent do not receive their salaries in advance, but in arrears. The President Muhammadu Buhari National Housing Program will reduce the number of those who rent houses and increase owners.
In the northern part of the country, we're building those 1, 2, and 3 bedroom houses in bungalow types with courtyards at the back to respond to the cultural needs of that part of the country. In the southern part, in places like Akwa Ibom, Enugu, we're doing a mix of some bungalows and blocks of 16 apartments, 4 on each floor. As I said, the operative word is pilot. Pilot because we are introducing a new product to the market and we want to be sure that the off-takers will accept it.
Understanding the plight of Nigerians under the bracket of low-income earners, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, again commences his advocacy for payment of rent in arrears as against what is obtainable in the country.
Imagine what is possible if we all resolve through Redan, NIES, and everybody that from tomorrow, all landlords agree by themselves to even take, I don't even say take it, 1 month's rent in advance. We reduce the pressure by 12 months. In advance, so it will be lovely if it is in arrears when they get paid. Do you imagine the release in this economy?
He advocates that people should build houses, make it affordable and acceptable as an action plan to end issues of deficit.
But this critical mass, this is what we think they want. This is our cost. Frank, can you build one at this cost? If you build it, I will buy it as government. What will I do with it and how will I buy it? Because I know that he wants a house. he contributes to the National Housing Fund. He's entitled, therefore, to apply for a mortgage loan.
Skills acquisition should not exist in isolation. Economic programs, including construction of houses, which provides employment opportunities for many Nigerians, has to be available as a backup. This is what President Muhammadu Buhari is doing with the current government national housing program ongoing in 34 states of the Federation.
The construction work that is going on has increased the demand for building materials, limestone, sand, laterite, and all of that. Those materials are not in the city. They are in the rural area. So there's a lot of activity going on there. And if those things continue to be sustained and people earn an income while they are close to they seem less likely to want to come. So we're already plugging the dam.
The meeting focuses on making life better for the country's critical mass, the taxi drivers, market women, and women who earn their money daily and are not even sure for making any revenue for that day. Meanwhile, landlords expect advance payments. Stakeholders agree with the minister's recommendations that there should be a landlord-tenant agreement backed up by effective housing laws.